How you doing, Jack?
Hey, Deutsch, what's going on?
Jack, we are doing good. We have, about 10 media members here. I realize this is your first multi-person media Zoom. So just to give you a heads up, the people on this chat will send me either a text or a question to ask you, and then they will ask you that, and I will direct them to you. So with that, we're going to start with Jess Myers. If you have a question for Jack, go ahead.
Jack, Penn State is a much different team than the one we saw a year ago. I was looking at the stats from your first game against them last year at home. A minute into the game, you'd face 6 shots, which is kind of typical of what you expect from the Lions. Despite all their different personnel, they say they're not changing their style. You can expect the same stuff. Just what are you looking forward to, and what do you expect when you face Penn State?
Well, I mean, Coach Godowski does a really good job of, getting all his players ready for the game. And, they've followed a certain style for, I think it's been about 5 years now. They like to get pucks deep, and they love to throw everything on net, and that's kind of their bread and butter. And on the opposite end of that, we got to find a way on how we're going to prepare for that and how we're going to counteract that. I think last year, the series where we went to Penn State, you saw a different Minnesota team that was slowly understanding and compromising their system and starting to understand how we got to beat Penn State by playing a different style that we're not used to.
Next up, we're going to go to Eric Vigo. Go ahead, Eric.
Jack, you've talked about how when you were first at Michigan, you realized you weren't ready to be there. After such a long layoff, how do you use the experience you've gained since then to be ready for the start of the season?
Well, I mean, it's been different. And it's all about finding ways to keep yourself mentally and physically in tune to the game. To be quite honest with you, I don't think there's any physical obstacle for anyone at this point in, their hockey careers. It's all going to be mental and emotional. To be able to stay dialed in and, motivated every single day to get ready for this first game of the season that's coming so late in the year. It's been difficult, to say the least, but it's brick by brick, 1% every day. So it's putting good days on another good day and preparing yourself for what's ahead. And for me, that's been the Thursday I got marked on my calendar since the schedule's been released. So it's been a long wait, but I mean, the hard work is hopefully all going to come into fruition for all the boys here.
What's going to be your focus as you step on the ice for that first game? The first 10 minutes, what's going to be the difference from practice to that first action?
You know what? I've been thinking about that, and I have no expectations for the game. I have no expectations, and that's just on a personal note. I know as a team, it's to win, but as a goalie, I'm prepared for whatever's thrown at me. If you're going to throw 25 shots or you're going to throw 1 shot at me in the first 5 minutes, I'll be ready for it. I have no expectations whatsoever. I know I've done all the work possible and necessary. And, at this point of the year, it's just, you got to go out and play. You got to, go blank in the mind and just trust your instincts and just go for it.
Next up, let's go to Randy Johnson. Go ahead.
Hi, Jack. The virus took away your guys' chance to make the NCAA tournament last year. Is there a feeling of unfinished business with that, and you feel this year is a year that you need to get there and make some noise when you get there?
100%. We as a team felt, I'm not going to use the word cheated, but I feel like, we left some good hockey on the table last year. And, Penn State was going to be the team that was, in our way of, our goal of making the tournament and, eventually winning a national championship. And there was that belief in that room. I'll tell you that right now, like that we had a strong belief that we had the team, we had the personnel, and we had a great group of guys to get there. And, with a new team, we have a couple new freshmen, but I mean, it's the same team this year. And everyone understands what's at stake, and everyone understands the issues we've had with Penn State. And, we have a little bit of a bad taste in our mouth with Penn State. There's some unfinished business there for sure. And, we're not going to be holding back any punches. I know the guys are really, really excited. And, man, we've been practicing since September here. Like, we're rearing to go. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and we're looking good in practice, and I'm excited for what's to come.
Thank you, Jack. We're going to go next to Drew Cove.
Hey, Jack. Just you guys lost a couple of key defensemen after last year. A couple of big guys played a lot of minutes for you guys. With some of the new guys, the freshmen in, what is it like for you, I guess, kind of working with that, not a whole new look blue line, but some of those younger guys to kind of get them up to speed and kind of be almost mid-season form, come Thursday?
Yeah, well, I mean, we lost two huge parts in Tyler Nanny and Ryan Zulsdorf. I mean, they were, two big, strong seniors, and we looked to them on and off the ice. Saying that, we had a lot of freshmen in the lineup last year, and it's going to pay dividends for us. I mean, there's some guys making some huge strides here. We have Matt Stodeker, Ryan Johnson, Jackson Lacombe, Ben Brinkman. These guys are taking huge strides, and this past offseason, even though the gym wasn't open, you can tell that, they're just different on the ice, off the ice. They're starting to turn into men here. And, with these new freshmen, we have Kester, Carl Fish, Brock Faber. These are good players. You know what I mean? We expect them to come in, and we expect them to compete. And that's the culture of our locker room. Nothing's going to be perfect from the start. We know that. It's going to be a little bit ugly at times, but we expect you to compete. We expect you to work hard, and we expect you to play the Gopher way. And, Coach Motzkow is instilling that in us. And, I have utmost confidence in our D. I think they look great, and they're going to be good. I'll put my money where my mouth is on that from day one.
I believe Jess Myers has a question for Jack.
Jack, we talked last year about the children of Yost and some of those student sections that make a lot of noise behind you. Is it almost an advantage to be playing with no fans for a goalie, or what's that atmosphere going to be like? You're not going to hear your name used in quite as much in visiting rinks.
To be honest with you, I see it. Just for starters, I love being the villain. There's nothing more than I love going to Yost Ice Arena and a couple thousand people yelling and screaming my name in the worst ways possible. So I love playing the villain. I think that's my specialty. My mom's not going to like to hear that, but nonetheless, that's how I feel. But yeah, it's going to be different. I'm not going to say it's advantageous or whatnot, but I think there's going to be a new element to college hockey and hockey in general that I think we saw in the bubble in the NHL, and that's just the fact that you got to manufacture your own energy and your own enthusiasm. And right now we've been really, really stressing the principle of talking on the ice, talking to the point where it gets annoying and you're just talking to talk. And the point of that, not only is it effective as communicating where you want the puck or where you want back checkers and so forth, but it's just to, get yourself into the game, because you're not going to have fans screaming. You're not going to have fans celebrating. You're not going to have fans booing. And it's all about finding ways to get yourself going here and get energy going.
Next up, we're going to go to Mike Russo with The Athletic.
Hey, Jack, Bob was saying last week that you guys were in 3 different locker rooms. Is that still the case, or have you moved into the main locker room yet?
So today is actually our first day where everyone's together. So it's kind of a big day, actually.
Also, what he was saying regarding COVID is he said it's really up to the leaders to kind of come up with rules to keep you guys safe, to be smart, not really him. Has that happened, and how incumbent, and if you guys want to pull this off and not shut down the way a lot of college football teams have had to really be responsible?
Yeah, well, I think the way Coach described it to us is we've been pleading the NCAA and the Big Ten, let us play. And now the Big Ten has granted us that opportunity. They said, okay, cool, you guys can play, better follow the rules. So it's really, it's not on the coaching staff. And, for our leaders, and Sammy Walker will tell you this as well, it's on us, 100% the players and, the older guys in the room to, really be smart. And, whether that's, obviously staying in on the weeknights, wearing a mask all the time, it's just a sporadic virus that's really hard to track. And for us, we're kind of creating our own bubble. And, obviously I don't have any medical degrees, so I can't get into the nuances of, you know, where and where not I'm going to get this virus, but it's all about, you know, giving yourself the best opportunity to be able to play Thursday, Friday, or Monday, Tuesday. So for us, it's just, it has been a struggle. There's been some growing pains along the way. I mean, no one in the past has done this, but you know, I got to tip my cap to guys like Sammy Walker and, you know, Sam Rossini, Colin Munson, you know, the older guys that have been here for a while, and they've just done a really good job of kind of patrolling what we do and how we're going to minimize our chances of getting the virus.
Thanks, Chad.
Thank you.
Our next question will be from Eric Vigo.
Jack, how did you handle the pandemic? I know Bob has talked a lot about how there's been uncertainty about when the season would start, if it would start, how it would start. And there's just been kind of these delays to the whole thing even coming together. How did you handle it, and what have you been up to?
I mean, to be quite honest with you, like the beginning of the pandemic, it was rough. Like I personally felt like I was coming into my own. I had a really good feeling about my game, and you know, it was kind of one of those huge letdowns. Well, of course this happened, and then you start to take the bright side of things, and you know, I got to spend a lot of time at home with my family. You know, you start to take a little bit more initiative for your own workouts and your own skating, and you kind of start to fall in love with the game again because you're taking more ownership for it. And you know, whether it's just Googling hockey workouts or, you know, doing hand-eye coordination drills, you know, no one's forcing you to do anything. And, you know, when you have a sense of ownership, you have a sense of confidence in your own game. And that's, I think, what a lot of us have found is, you know, coach will tell you, I mean, we had guys working out, you know, on the lawn of the hockey house. You know, it looks like, you know, Gold's Gym outside. You know, it looks like Venice Beach. Guys like Benny Myers looks like a silverback gorilla, and all he's been doing is push-ups in his room. So, I mean, a lot of guys took ownership this summer for how they were going to get better, whether that was on the ice, whether it was off the ice. I mean, we did a phenomenal job of, you know, making sure that nothing, not even a pandemic, was going to stand in our way of getting better and preparing ourselves for this season.
I'm going to say last call for questions for Jack. Does anyone have anything more? Jess, go ahead.
Jack, with a letter on your sweater now as part of the team leadership and kind of the senior leader of the goalies, have you had to talk to Jared Moe about Stash at all? You know, a lot of questions there about what he's thinking with the facial hair.
I mean, it's egregious. If I could describe it in one word, I would say egregious. Just absolutely heinous to see. But no, all the boys love it. I know he's dyed it once now. I'm assuming he's going to dye it again. I really hope he keeps his mask on during TV timeouts. I don't think any person at home should, you know, have to watch that and stomach that. So.
With that, if we don't have any other questions for Jack, we'll turn him loose, and Sammy Walker should be joining us momentarily.
Thank you very much, guys. Thanks, Brian.
Thanks, Jack.
Thanks, Jack.
And I'll remind everybody we are recording this, but if you want to, I actually have Sammy Walker right here, so I'm going to bring him in, and we'll do round two. Wait, did I lose Sammy Walker?
No, I'm here.
Oh, there you are, Sammy. Hey, Sammy, how you doing today?
Good.
Sammy, I realize this is the first group Zoom you've done with the media. So just to quick lay it out for you, the people on this call will probably send me a text or a chat about asking you a question, and then I will direct them to you. And with that, I will open it up for questions if anyone has one. Eric Vigo, we're going to let you go first.
Sammy, your coaches talked about how you've had a lot of good, productive players on your roster last season, but he's looking for players to make that step to being an elite player. What does it take for a college hockey player to reach that status? And have you thought about that at all this season?
Yeah. I mean, I think it starts with the off season, and just putting in the hours and the work. And we definitely have a lot of guys that did that and made that big step from last year to this year. So, I mean, we're excited, and I mean, we're just ready to get back on the ice on Thursday.
Have you looked at anything about your season last year to see how you can make steps forward in your game and how opponents are attacking you?
Yeah, I mean, I think I try it in every area to improve. I mean, there's always room for improvement, and whether that's, still trying to get faster and better hands, better shot, and then also, just getting stronger, and being harder to push off the puck.
Next up, we're going to go to Randy Johnson with the Star Tribune.
Yeah, hi, Sammy. Last year, the virus took away your guys' chance to make the NCAA tournament. Is there like an unfinished business feel with this team and that about making the tournament this year and making some noise when you get there?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you look back at, our last game, or when we were about to go play Penn State. I mean, we were ready, and we wanted that game against them, and it's kind of fun that we start off against them too. I mean, we felt that we were ready for that game, and now that, I mean, so many time has passed, we're ready to make a statement.
Let's go over to Drew Cove.
Hey, Sammy. It looks like this year, obviously, a lot more consistency up front in terms of roster makeup and just a lot of guys returning. Has that helped at all kind of get up to speed, or just when you guys started getting to practice and kind of keeping as a unit kind of getting ready to go?
Yeah, for sure. It's nice that, we have pretty much everyone coming back. So, like, I mean, working on systems and stuff, it's a lot easier. Everyone's kind of up to date with it, besides, like, obviously the 4 freshmen. But that makes it easier stepping back into it, and hopefully it will be easier when the first couple of games get here.
Okay, next we are going to go to Jess Myers.
Sammy, a year ago when you were named a co-captain along with Tyler Nanny, your coach said he wanted Tyler to kind of handle, the bulk of the captaincy duties and for you to kind of learn how to be a captain. What did that go like, and what did you learn from Tyler now that you're the only guy with a C on your sweater?
Yeah, it was nice learning from Tyler, just because, I mean, I was a sophomore, so I was mostly just leading by example, and, he would kind of take the bigger roles. But yeah, now, I mean, I step into that bigger role and, just being more of a leader.
Does the captaincy take on a different look in a time like this where off-ice behavior and safety is so important?
Yeah. I mean, with COVID and everything and trying to play games, you got to be smart. And I mean, I think we've done a really good job at that. And once the games start, it's everyone's, they get into that mode that, it's season's here. But I mean, besides that, I mean, really for me, it's kind of the same thing. You just, keep leading by example on the ice and just treating everyone good.
Our next question will come from Eric Vigo.
Jack talked about how there aren't a lot of rules about how to handle the pandemic, and it's kind of up to the leaders on the team to enforce those. What's that been like for you to even come up with things to tell the team and situations that you have to handle and step in?
Yeah. I mean, it's ultimately it's on every single player to, be smart. And as a team, we've been doing like activities to, just hang out as a team, and kind of so we're not, a loose cannon, but no, guys have been really good, and it hasn't been too hard managing everyone.
What's team building during the pandemic like? What have you guys been up to?
I mean, honestly, not much. We we'll either all hang out, watch sports, play cards. We don't do much, but
We're going to do a little radio row here. We're going to start with Mike Grimm. Go ahead, Mike.
Hey, Sammy, thanks for doing this. You guys have built a nice little rivalry with Penn State. What do you see from them this year, maybe in relation to what you've seen in years past, and how much you're looking forward to going against them this week?
Yeah, I've always liked playing Penn State. I mean, they're super offensive, and I mean, you have any turnovers or bad mistakes, they're gonna make you pay for it. So they're a fun team to play just because they always have a ton of skill, and then you got a couple buddies on there, which is always fun to play. And yeah, they've kind of had our number the past 2 years, so it's a new year and it's exciting to see what will happen this year.
Now let's turn it over to Frank Mizoko.
Sammy, thanks for being with us. Bob Motzko has said the last couple of years, the last 2 freshman classes that he's been involved with, the guys have almost been required to take on quality minutes because of the nature and the makeup of the team. How do you look at this year's freshman class? Do you think they're going to be in the position, and from what you've seen on the ice, will they demand to take quality minutes just based on their play?
I mean, all 4 freshmen they're really good players, and they can for sure step in and play big minutes for us. We have so many guys returning. Every single player has that ability. So, no, it's interesting to see, and it should be a fun year.
All right, I'm going to have last call for questions for Sammy. We can take a couple more, and I know Jess Myers has one.
Sammy, your coach talked about how eager you guys were to play Penn State in March when everything got canceled, and the fact that you didn't get a win against them last year, but a couple of lopsided games early in the season, and then in February when you went there, you had a tie, and you had a game where you had a lead with, I think, 11 minutes left in their building. He said he felt like you were closing the gap on them and kind of learning how to play against them a little better. Tell us about that. I mean, what did you learn in the 4 games with Penn State, and how was that gap kind of shrinking?
For sure. With such a young team, I think it took us a couple games to realize how they played and their system, just of how offensive they were. And when that game came and that last game that got canceled, I think we were ready, and I think everyone was pretty confident that we were going to win that game, which was so tough that it got canceled, just because I felt that we were pretty confident. But I think that's led over into this year, and we're excited for this first game here.
And on the topic of road trips, this maybe affects the goalies more, but you won't have to hear the children of Yost. You won't have to hear those student sections in some of those road buildings. Is that almost going to be an advantage that you're playing in a quiet atmosphere on the road?
Even for me, it's even if it's in away fans, it's still fun to play in front of fans, whether if they hate you or not. But for me, you're still playing hockey, and we're gonna try not to think about it too much.
Thanks.
Next up, we're gonna go to Eric Vigo.
Jack talked a little bit about how with no fans on the rink, to build some energy, everybody's got to communicate more on the ice. Is that a stretch for you to be more vocal during the game? And do you expect to hear a lot of chirps that you might not hear, with no fans during the NHL bubble? There's a lot of chirping going on, and the reporters are able to hear something that they usually didn't. So how do you prepare for both of those factors?
Yeah, I think you guys are definitely going to be able to hear more. But no, definitely within a team, when there's no fans, you got to bring your own energy. And I think that's what's cool about hockey players is, I mean, no matter the situation, we just go out and play. And you saw that with the NHL playoffs. So, no, I mean, it's going to be a fun year.
With that, unless anyone has any last-second questions, we're going to turn Sammy Walker loose. Sammy, thank you for your time, and we will see you in a couple days.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Sammy.
Media members, thank you. I will have this uploaded to the digital press box as soon as I can. So if anyone needs anything, give me a shout, and we will have more information for you later today. Have a good day, everybody.
Thanks, Deutsch.